And it's not just for elite athletes. So one of the reasons that we are so excited about this is because in the past years that they've had this product available, like so many things, is that you expect one thing from a product that's this powerful, but what ends up happening is another thing. There have been almost just shy of miracles that have happened in the world of pain. And we have to be careful about what diseases we say, because we're not allowed to treat or cure or mitigate or anything. But there have been so many stories of people's lives changing health-wise, pain-wise, healing-wise, that it is more than what they can put on this site that basically is promoting like an athletic performance speed stick looking thing, and they haven't been able to put it. And how frustrating to know what this can do and not be able to tell it story to story, belly to belly. And to explain a little bit more about that, I'm going to bring on Dr. Marlisa Hurt. For those of you, I just gave her a little bit. I actually don't have the time to tell you how amazing this woman is. And I'm the girl who gets girl crushes easy, but I go right up to them and go, I have a girl crush on you. This woman is as brilliant as she is beautiful, but has the most heart-centered desire and purpose to use her knowledge for the greatest good for the greatest many. But when I heard about this, I shared it with her, mainly because I respect her so much, and I knew that she was having her own healing journey, but I didn't know that it would be as impactful to her as it has been. And I'm just going to let you guys listen to her a little bit about why Lactigo, why we need the ingredients in it, and her own story. So if you can come on, my darling.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I am a Lactigo miracle. I am so excited that I get to be here tonight to share about the power, the uniqueness of this delivery system, but the need. This truly is something that is needed by every single household in the world, I believe, should have this, because it is truly a mitochondrial rescue product. And in order to use compliance, I'm going to say things like this supports our ability to help manage our mitochondrial. Because, and some of you listening, like, what are you even talking about? What is mitochondrial rescue? How does my household need to be rescued with their mitochondria? If you don't know what that is, I hope that by the end of this little time that we share together, you fully know how to listen to what your body is telling you, because it's usually our mitochondria that are actually giving us signals that are telling us what's going on in our body. So our mitochondria are the little energy factories inside all of our muscle cells. The highest concentration is in the brain and in our sexual organs. They are the energy factories that allow us to take food, fuel, nutrients, and turn it into energy. That's what makes us, when we stand up, it's what powers our legs to be able to push us up off a chair and to be able to walk across the room. We talk about all the claims to fame within the professional athletes that have used this. And it's so exciting for all of us to get to watch people that we all know because they're famous. But truly, this product wouldn't be great if it was only for elite athletes. I mean, it would be great, but it wouldn't be like a world-changing product that I know that it is. When Ariana called me and told me what this was, I was like, oh, wait. If it has this and this in it, you don't even know what this does. Like, I need this right now. Like, how soon can I get this? Because this, I knew from just hearing the ingredients that it truly was a mitochondrial rescue product. And that means that also, because of the delivery system is so unique, a lot of the challenges that we have. So I'm an anti-aging medicine, which means we study from the cellular level. I work with people from professional athletes to executives to politicians, anyone who wants to optimize their brain function, their physical performance. We look at everything that we are putting in their body, and we use these different levers to be able to bring them to their optimal level of performance. So, if I have a CEO that is running a company and he has brain fog and can't complete a sentence or have memory recall, we put the things in that will address that and help fix that. So anti-aging medicine really, and functional medicine, we're just looking at the seesaw of the balance of two different things within the body. And it's really quite simple. It's, do we have enough nutrients coming in to offset the toxins that are coming in? We have toxins coming in through our air, water, food, pesticides, preservatives, all kinds of stuff coming in through our food supply. Our personal hygiene products have hundreds of chemicals related to cancer and accelerating the aging of the brain and causing nervous system damage, all in the name of taking a shower and trying to get clean and look good. We are poisoning ourselves every day. We are poisoning ourselves with every breath we take unless we're very proactive and we live a life of what I call conscious compensation with the choices that we're making every day. So when we think about what the mitochondria need, we basically need a nutrient to neutralize every toxin that we breathe in. We need a nutrient to be able to match up and neutralize any toxin that we slather on when we're putting in personal hygiene products, or when we eat a salad that's not organic and it's loaded with pesticides, or, you get the idea. So what does this have to do with Lactigo? The uniqueness of this delivery system in and of itself. So I've worked in product manufacturing. Transdermal nutrient therapy is the way of the future. I've been working on this for probably about 11 years now. And back at that time, I think it had only really been a concept that people were developing for maybe 4 to 5 years. So I would say 15 years has it been that we've been producing products that you could put something on your skin and it would get into your bloodstream within 30 seconds. And what we've learned is that it actually takes about 100 times less of a nutrient to get an effective dose than if you're taking it orally. And as people get older, everyone has protein malabsorption in their gut. Everybody starts making less hydrochloric acid. So when you take supplements orally, very often, especially with carnosine and magnesium, the two powerhouse ingredients that are in Lactigo, these things might have an absorption rate of like between 4 and maybe 20% maximum. So if you're taking 100 milligrams, you might get 4 milligrams actually in your bloodstream. That's not good. So what happens is it gets so expensive to take a high enough dose of these things, because the more sick people are, the older people are, the less they actually can digest and absorb. And when we're young, we make our own carnosine if we have enough protein in our diet. We little kids running around and they can fall down and jump back up and nothing hurts, and they're making a ton of carnosine as long as they're getting enough protein. Carnosine is made from amino acids, so little tiny pieces of protein. If you're not eating enough protein, you cannot make your own carnosine. If your toxic load exceeds the amount of nutrients that you have coming in, your mitochondria, those little factories, they have to shift down into a lower gear, and they are not able to produce as much energy or ATP at the cellular level. So we think about this lactic acid buffering property that the clinical literature has proven to us that the combination of carnosine and magnesium can remove lactic acid. So we tend to think that this means lactic acid, where does it come from? We use our muscles to the point of where we limit out, or our muscles fatigued and exhausted, and that pain and that fatigue and that, it's because there's acid. Lactic acid is the sensation of the pain that we get, delayed onset muscle soreness. It can last in the body for 3 days, 5 days, depending on how well you're eating, how much protein you're eating. It depends on how quickly you're able to neutralize that lactic acid and wash it out on its own. But if you use this product before you exercise, you can apply this to the skin, and it's there like a safety net to suck up that lactic acid and neutralize it on contact. So you can work out much longer, harder, and work your muscles better, and then you don't get sore afterwards. And this is fantastic for people who are elite athletes, but it's also fantastic for people who are executives who need their brain to be working at its peak function. It's also great for people who have metabolic syndrome, who their metabolism doesn't work like it did. How many people, your metabolism does not work like it did when you were 20 years old? Like everybody, most people.
Right up in the chat. Put me, everyone in the chat.
Most people, think like, oh yeah, after you're 30, this is due to aging. No, it's really not. It's due to mitochondrial downshifting. And that's why I say this is a mitochondrial rescue product, because if we give our mitochondria enough protein, if we could absorb it in our gut, we could make our own carnosine still. If we hadn't eaten and subsisted on Pop-Tarts and potato chips and all kinds of processed junk foods that are low in protein to the point of getting diabetes, that's a mitochondrial downshifting. That break when your metabolism is broken and you become weight loss resistant, even when you stop eating junk food and start eating nutrient dense healthy foods, your metabolism is broken and you can't lose weight no matter how healthy you eat. You can't exercise because you're exhausted. It's because you've had a mitochondrial downshifting. There has been not enough nutrients for such a long time. You haven't had carnosine and magnesium to manage this mitochondrial output. So we know that lactic acid is produced when we exercise or we really push ourselves to our limits, but a lot of people don't know that toxins also deplete the key nutrients that allow us to generate ATP in the muscle cells and in our brain tissue. And so when we're nutrient deprived and our cells have surpassed this toxic load, we start, people who have chronic degenerative diseases like diabetes, metabolic syndrome, chronic fatigue syndrome, anything where just even if you don't even have a syndrome label, if you just feel tired but wired and you can't relax at nighttime, your mitochondria are waving the white flag and saying, rescue me. So when you are crossing over into this mitochondrial downshifting, we begin mass producing lactic acid even when we're at rest. It's not just aging that causes you to wake up feeling like you've been injured in your sleep. This is a mitochondrial rescue signal. So I want to challenge you to think just a little bit different about what your body's telling you when you perceive pain. Your body's telling you that you are hungry at the cellular level. It doesn't have enough raw materials. It doesn't have enough fuel to make ATP. And when our mitochondria have to shift into this lower gear, it causes pain. And this is our mitochondria actually dying off. So tissue death hurts, and your body is waving that white flag with those pain signals. So listen, feed it. Transdermal nutrient therapy has found an incredible, unique breakthrough with this product, that we are able to not only get it into the bloodstream, but also into the deep cellular tissue level. So because it places this cellular food on the other side of all of these blocks, like whether it's a digestive malabsorption issue or a metabolic block like diabetes, because this places the nutrients on the other side of whatever block it is like putting an oxygen mask on for our hungry cells. So interestingly, all of the diseases that take lives today are considered chronic degenerative diseases, and they are related to mitochondrial downshifting. So whether we're talking about cancer, diabetes, heart disease, it all starts in our mitochondria first. So what we have available to our bodies to repair when we rest depends on our mitochondria's ability to be able to recharge and produce ATP. So if you're waking up feeling exhausted, if you're going to bed feeling tired but wired, and you're making to-do lists as you're laying there and you're not able to transition from fight or flight mode into rest and recovery mode, that's a sign that your mitochondria is hungry. The list of things that the combination of these mitochondrial rescue agents, carnosine and magnesium, that they'll do, they reduce oxidative stress. That means any kind of stress that's coming at you at the cellular level, anything, whether it's toxins in the air, water, and food, whether it is, physically pushing yourself to your limit in the gym, whether it is toxic emotional relationships, anything that causes stress increases our nutrient demands on our body. So we can use this topical food liking nutrient as a lever to modulate our oxidative stress load. So inflammation, it reduces advanced glycation end products, which are also a hallmark of aging. When proteins attach to sugar, you can look at your skin and see if you have had advanced glycation end products. Sometimes people call them age spots or liver spots. Those are, that is a process called glycation that accelerates the aging of our skin. but we also have those spots all over our internal organs. If you've got a lot of that going on, you need to slather some stuff on you, because your organs on the inside also have those same spots on them that accelerated cellular aging, and you can get rid of them if you feed your cells properly. So these things also regulate macrophage function, activate the immune system's capacity, and then also activates GABA, which is our major inhibitory neurotransmitter. So this allows our system to downshift from that fight or flight, or that parasympathetic, over into the parasympathetic mode, which is our rest and repair mode. So again, if you are going to sleep at night and making lists of things to do and rehashing every conversation you had all day long, your body is, your mitochondria are trying to tell you they are so hungry that they're in panic mode, and they're trying to tell you they need some help. So, you need carnosine, and you may need magnesium, like as if water and oxygen. So, let's see, this activates brain-derived neurotrophic factor. So hallmarks of being low in this are psychiatric diseases and accelerated brain aging. And last but not least, carnosine helps to modulate overactive histamine responses, which is why I personally could not wait to get my hands on it, because my immune system had started batting for the other team a few years ago. I had an inhalation injury from toxic mold poisoning, and I thought I could stay in my house and live through it. And 3 years later, I finally had to move out of my house for the past year, because my immune system, basically the dam broke, and I was just gaining tons of fluid. If you think about somebody who, and I got mast cell activation syndrome, which means the flip just switches and everything goes haywire with your immune system, but it's basically too much histamine. Carnosine and magnesium, for people who have heightened sense of allergic reactions, or if you get in an elevator and somebody has perfume on and you get a bad headache and you can't function for 3 days, like me, your toxic load is far beyond the amount of nutrients that you're taking in to neutralize those toxins, and you have overactive histamine responses. We've all heard of kids who, or adults even, who get a bee sting, and it doesn't just leave like a red mark that's itchy. Their whole arm swells up, their throat closes up. That's an overactive histamine response. These mitochondrial rescue ingredients help to neutralize that overactive, life-threatening response to things. Like a bee sting should not kill us, but it can if people have an immune system that is struggling. So I personally started taking this on a Thursday afternoon. I had been having severe chronic pain for 3 years. I had been doing all of the things in functional medicine, taking multiple injections per day for 9 months, peptide therapy, red light therapy, methylene blue, like just, all the tricks. I've got all the tools, all the tricks. I've been doing it all, but I still had chronic pain in between my shoulder blades and in my neck that I just couldn't get rid of. But I was 90% better. And just knowing, and then the brain fog that also comes. Mold, when you breathe in mold, it literally pokes holes in your mitochondria, and all the ATP leaks out, and you can't think, and your muscles hurt, because again, those mitochondria, they just start dying off, and it hurts. So I started using this on a Thursday afternoon. I used it that night. I used it Friday morning, Friday night, 36 hours, 5 applications later, and I was able to move furniture for 8 hours straight. We'd had to have our house completely emptied of everything in it. And then the new things were coming in. I was helping to put those things in place. And that was the first time that I had been able to do any kind of physical labor in 3 years. And I didn't sit down for 8 hours straight. It was fantastic. And I could do it without getting tired. I didn't need to sit down and really retreat to the couch. And the next morning I woke up with energy, and I felt like I could lift weights. So after a week, after 7 days of applying it 2 to 3 times a day, during that week, I had the opportunity to speak with our chief science officer, Dr. Chad Macias, and he had shared that there is no safe upper limit of carnosine. That means there is no amount that you could put on your body that you could ever achieve a toxic response. It's all good, nothing bad. You're just banking up more and more reserves that allows you to be more resilient to oxidative stress, more resilient to all kinds of stress, more resilient to chemical stress, more resilient to exercise stress. You're just banking up. It's like being too rich, right? There isn't such a thing, is there? This I could not wait to just bank up and upregulate my mitochondria to the highest gears of stress tolerance and stress resilience, just to see what my body was capable of doing. And I became pain free in a week of something that I had been trying to crack the code on for 3.5 years. And
That would be
then
the part, that would be the part that I would even just clip out of that, because you can imagine my delight when I got that message. But, and then go.
And then I lost 5 pounds, which to me was just like, yes, I just turned 55 years old. And everybody's like, oh, it's just menopause. It's well, I'm like, no, it isn't. Our bodies should work even when we're older if we put in the right things and we're very conscious about avoiding the wrong things. So diabetes starts in the muscle cells. People don't know this, but when we have enough amino acids, when we have enough essential fatty acids, our muscles are like have these little neurofibrils that are kind of like an electrical cord that you plug into the wall. And our muscles, when we use them, should plug into our fat stores so that we have this effortless supply of fuel to burn when we exercise. When we have a metabolic break, when we have mitochondrial downshifting, when we have an excessive toxic load, those neurofibrils die off and we no longer can burn fat for fuel when we're fasting because there's been a block. And the beauty of this product is it places the nutrients, the food supply, the fuel for the muscles on the other side of that metabolic block. And it allows our muscles to just suck that stuff up and use it and work like they haven't missed a beat. So I just want to say, whether you know someone who has brain fog, who can't sleep at night, who hasn't left the couch and they're on the sidelines of their own life, you have nothing to lose but all of these things that have been holding you back, keeping you on the couch. If you want to know what a good day feels like and to live your life fully, I would challenge you to use this 2 to 3 times a day. Use it like clockwork. I'm a huge believer in circadian biorhythms. Like the universe was created with such order and our bodies were designed to be in sync with the rhythms of the earth. If you could put this on at sunrise and sunset every day, religiously, if you have a lot of chronic pain, I would also put it on midday. Even better, try to get 15 minutes of sunlight in there at noon, but don't stop when you feel good. Keep going. You need your body to go through 2 to 3 cycles of cell renewal and repair before you miss a day. This is about every 4 months. We have a totally new supply of red blood cells. I would challenge you to do a 4-month challenge of not missing a day, because it's only then that you will know what your body's truly capable of. And this might be the first time you know what a good feels like. So for all of the people who have been looking for something, all of the people who are tired, don't even, I reached out to a naturopathic doctor in Canada who suffers from a trigeminal neuralgia. And she's like, I've tried everything. Trust me, I've tried everything. And I said, wait, have you tried transdermal carnosine and magnesium? And she's a huge spokesperson for magnesium. She's written books on it. I said, you have to try this. Do not give up on yourself on what your body's capable of before you try this, because the uniqueness of the delivery system, the clinical data that we have, and it is just so powerful. And I know that this 2025 is going to be our year to thrive. I know it's going to be mine. I hope that you'll join me in that challenge. And I'm excited to see, I can't wait to hear
Amazing.
people's stories.